afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Live at 4 on this primary election day in Wisconsin.
Yep, hope you got out to vote. The polls are open until 8 o'clock tonight. There are no weather worries.
You still have 4 hours to get there.
A lot more time.
Yeah, a lot more time. And we'll have complete coverage and analysis coming up. And it is, of course, that's what's topping our news today is the primary election day. We'll check on voter turnout and what to watch as returns come in later this evening.
And speculation on the search at Mar-a-Lago continues and political fallout in the nation's capital.
But first, let's take a look outside on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. A little chilly this morning. Had to put a sweatshirt on to walk the dogs. I'm not complaining. Blue skies ahead, and Julian's in the backyard with more good news.
That's right. So all the great weather that we've been waiting for and asking for has finally delivered for us as we're getting in throughout the rest of today. As we take a look at what we are actually going to be expecting for us, well, we're going to be looking at taking a look over towards Max 1. We're going to be switching through our almanac for as of right now. We're looking at, well, just inched and a little bit higher. So our high for today was around 79 degrees for us, and normal is around 81 degrees for us as of right now. But as we take a look at our temperatures throughout southern Wisconsin, many of us are dealing with beautiful weather. 79 degrees in Janesville with 77 into Platteville. Many of us are holding on to those upper 70s and those low 80s as we kick off the rest of our afternoon going into the evening hours. Great news is it's very comfortable. A couple of areas are feeling a little bit of humidity, which is near Platteville and all the way to Viroqua, but overall nothing too sticky as we're getting in throughout the rest of this afternoon and evening. And taking a look at our Doppler track, it's dry in the upper Midwest, but as we see our friends just towards the south, we're seeing a line of some storms and some showers that are starting to move their way east as we continue throughout the rest of tonight. But taking a look at our election day forecast, well, we're going to be seeing things to really just be great throughout the rest of this evening. Still holding on to plenty of sunshine, holding into those 70s as well. It's going to be pleasant, but also make sure you vote. Now, switch our gears over towards the traffic as of right now. We can see along the belt line eastbound, we're seeing a bit, or westbound actually, we're looking at a bit of some slow spots just off of Fish Hatchery Road, but otherwise it's rather smooth, especially as you continue towards Mineral Point. Taking a look at the interstate as of right now, all green as a go as we're getting into the rest of our afternoon hours and going into the evening. We'll take a look at what else is expected for our weather in just a few moments. Until then, let's toss it back to you guys.
All right, Julian, thank you so much. Well, first at 4, after weeks of television campaign commercials, the fate of the candidates running for state office comes down to today's primary election.
The main contest is that it's garnering the most attention is the race to decide which Republican will face Governor Tony Evers in November. Tim Michels voted as soon as the polls opened this morning at the Shaniqua Village Hall in Waukesha County. Michels was endorsed by former President Donald Trump, who appeared at a rally for Michels last week. He says the endorsement shows what people want, who people want to see in office.
Rebecca Clayfish also voted when the polls opened in Sullivan, where she lives. Clayfish says her experience in office under former Governor Scott Walker is what the state of Wisconsin needs and why people are voting for her. The polls opened bright and early at 7 o'clock this morning, and as we mentioned at the top of the show, will close at 8 p.m. tonight.
Political reporter Will Keneally takes a look at the turnout for this afternoon. Will?
That's right. So voting continues across the state and in Madison. It's been a little bit slow so far. By 11 this morning, the city clerk said turnout was around 9%. Now compare that to 4 years ago when the city was preparing for upwards of 60% by the same time. But voters who did turn out say it was important to make their voices heard.
There's lots of money spent on campaigns and a lot of money from different groups. But I think this is where the people really have the strongest incentive to really make changes to the country.
So already the campaign has been pretty expensive with massive amounts of spending on both sides. That's only expected to increase when national groups hop into the race after tonight's election. Remember again that polls stay open until 8 tonight, and stay tuned to News 3 Now throughout the night for the latest results.
So 9%, that's a pretty low turnout. How do you think that's going to affect things as we count the votes?
Yeah, so in a place like Madison, for example, with heavy Democratic turnout, it's expected to be, pretty slow so far, right? There's not a big Democratic top-line race. The only two races that are really competitive for Democrats today are for Lieutenant Governor and Secretary of State, so we're not expecting too much. We could see, though, some crossover votes, for example, if Democrats decide that they want to switch over and vote in the Republican primary. But we talked to a political science expert, and he says that that might not be the case so much. There's not a lot of distinction for Democrats between Clayfish and Michels, the top top two on the Republican side.
Now, later tonight when the votes come in, we're going to have an interactive map that will show how things look in each individual county, which will be very helpful. What do the candidates need to do on both sides of the aisle? What are the counties you're going to be watching closely tonight, besides Dane County, obviously?
Obviously, Dane County for sure, but I think the WOW counties, Waukesha, Ozaukee, and Washington counties, kind of suburban Milwaukee, is going to be very key, and turnout is going to be very key. It's going to be key for Rebecca Clayfish, so if she turns out those counties, I think that will be a good night for her.
This is Will's Super Bowl tonight. This
Absolutely.
is the big night for political reporters.
It's a warm-up for November.
Exactly, exactly.
All right, well, we'll see you later.
All right, we'll see you in a couple hours. Thank you, Will.
Thank you.
News 3 Now has you covered this election day. We'll have the results starting soon after the polls close, both at the bottom of your screen on television and on channel3000.com. Just look for the Campaign 2022 banner at the top of our homepage. And something new this election, as we've just been talking about, you can find live online interactive maps showing how the candidates are doing in specific areas of the state.
Jefferson County Sheriff's deputies are investigating a shooting at a home in Jefferson County. Deputies were called to a home in the town of Sumner just before 12:15 a.m. for a report of gunshots. A person was seen walking away from the home, and that person was later arrested. Jefferson County officials say a death investigation is ongoing at the scene, but information about the victim or the suspect was not released. Officials did not say if the victim was killed as a result of the shooting.
200 workers at a Belmont cheese factory are going to lose their jobs. Saputo, a cheese and dairy products company based in Montreal, Canada, says it plans to close its goat cheese facility in Belmont as part of a restructuring plan. The goat cheese production will shift to the company's plant in Reedsburg. The transition will begin next spring. Saputo did say that the Belmont workers will be provided with financial support, including severance pay. Well, there's more fallout today after the FBI seized boxes of documents from former President Trump's Mar-a-Lago home. The former president and several top Republicans say Monday's search was political, and they're demanding answers.
So far, the FBI and Justice Department are not publicly commenting. Skylar Henry has more from Washington.
Congressional Republicans are slamming the Justice Department and calling for investigations, one day after the FBI searched former President Trump's Mar-a-Lago, Florida residence.
I want to know what led to this. I think every Republican believes that the FBI, when it comes to Trump and other organizations, have lost their mind.
Sources tell CBS News the search was connected to a Justice Department investigation of claims by the National Archives that it found 15 boxes of records, including classified material at Mar-a-Lago earlier this year. The former president and his family publicly blamed President Biden and the Democrats.
They want to attack a guy who they view as his greatest threat, is Biden's greatest threat.
But a White House official tells CBS News they were given no heads up.
The president was not briefed, was not aware of it. The Justice Department conducts investigations independently, and we leave any law enforcement matters to them.
Executing a search warrant on a former president's home has never been done before, and given the political nature of this search, approval likely came from the very top of the FBI and the Department of Justice.
For them to do this, the Department of Justice, the FBI, every I was dotted, every T was crossed.
Under the Presidential Records Act, documents received and sent by the president are required to be preserved. Since the search, protesters for and against the former president have gathered outside of Trump-owned properties in multiple states. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Washington.
Well, it may have been primary election day, but Senator Tammy Baldwin was in town at Franklin Electric Madison to talk electric vehicles. Baldwin supported President Biden's sweeping infrastructure bill passed last year, which set aside $5 billion to build a national electric vehicle charging network. Wisconsin will receive nearly $79 million of that money to build charging stations along all 5 interstates and 7 U.S. highways in the state.
By expanding access to electric vehicles and reducing our reliance on fossil fuels, we can cut energy costs and combat the impacts of global warming.
Baldwin toured the lab at Franklin Electric to see firsthand how Madison businesses will benefit from the new commitment to electric vehicles. The visit comes on the heels of a big weekend in Washington where she voted to pass the Inflation Reduction Act, which also includes several policies focused on fighting climate change. Well, up next at 4, our political pundits preview the primary election and what to watch for tonight.
Plus, what President Biden is doing to bring computer chip manufacturing back to America.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
Is your home just as hot inside as it is outside? The problem might be your walls have no insulation or ineffective builder's grade insulation letting all that heat in. But when USA Insulation wraps your home in our premium injection foam, we turn your home into a cooler, keeping the heat outside and your cool, comfortable air inside, right where it belongs, and helping you save on rising electric bills. And right now, when we foam your walls, we'll insulate your attic for free.
USA Insulation.
If you have type 2 diabetes or high blood pressure, you're a target for chronic kidney disease. You can already have it and not know it. If you have chronic kidney disease, your kidney health could depend on what you do today. Farxiga is a pill that works in the kidneys to help slow the progression of chronic kidney disease. Farxiga can cause serious side effects, including dehydration, urinary tract or genital yeast infections in women and men, and low blood sugar. Ketoacidosis is a serious side effect that may lead to death. A rare, life-threatening bacterial infection in the skin of the perineum could occur. Stop taking Farxiga and call your doctor right away if you have symptoms of this bacterial infection, an allergic reaction, or ketoacidosis. And don't take it if you are on dialysis. Take aim at chronic kidney disease by talking to your doctor and asking about Farxiga. If you can't afford your medication, AstraZeneca may be able to help.
I'm Rebecca Clayfish, and your choice for governor is clear. I'm the Tea Party mom who took on the Madison establishment and won. Tim Michaels is a Madison insider who's enriched himself with your tax dollars. I stood with Scott Walker to cut your taxes. Tim Michaels sided with the union bosses and pushed to raise our gas tax to make himself richer. Tim Michaels is out for himself. I'm Rebecca Clayfish. As governor, I'll always fight for you.
Hey, we're here at the local farmers market where Informed Choice Insurance Agency is offering fresh, hand-picked local Medicare. What do you mean when you say shop local for Medicare?
Your local Medicare plans have all of the bells and whistles the national TV ads promise, only better because you're working with local agents who know the doctors, specialists, and the hospital networks inside and out. You're not going to get that talking to a national call center wanting to check your zip code.
Don't be fooled by national TV hype. When it comes to your Medicare options, keep it local with Informed Choice Insurance Agency, and their services are free.
Eyes require a certain kind of care. As a family-owned optical company for over 40 years, Wisconsin Vision knows firsthand just how important your eyes are. That's why our doctors and staff are highly skilled and passionate in their roles. It's why our centers offer a large selection of eyewear suitable for all lifestyles, and it's why our lens lab is state-of-the-art, conveniently located right here in Wisconsin.
Ask about our Designer Kids package or free lens upgrade. Wisconsin Vision. See more life.
Welcome back. The U.S. government is making a giant investment in the tiniest of things.
President Biden signed the CHIPS and Science Act. With the stroke of a pen, the president is bringing chip manufacturing and research back to American shores. The $280 billion CHIPS and Science Act includes $52 billion in subsidies for U.S. computer chip companies, $24 billion in tax credits for new manufacturing facilities, and tens of billions for research and development.
We're going to construct an entire semiconductor ecosystem right here in the United States of America.
Manufacturers aren't wasting any time. Chips are needed for just about everything we use these days, from cars, consumer electronics, to medical equipment and military weapons, even some kitchen appliances. A recent Commerce Department report found demand for chips was 17% higher last year than it was in 2019.
Stocks lost ground again on Wall Street, led by tech stocks. The Dow Industrials lost 58 points, closing at 32,774. The tech-heavy NASDAQ dropped 150 points, and the S&P 500 was off 7. Well, the recent survey of U.S. workers found that up to 61% of U.S. professionals feel like they're burning out at any moment. in time, and 43% reported high levels of daily stress.
So how does that affect their work performance? And the question everybody wants to know, how do you deal with it and recover from it?
UW Health distinguished psychologist Shyla Mergain is back with us in studio after 2 years, 2.5 years.
For the first time.
So great to be here and see you both in person.
It's so good to see you. You didn't bring the baby, did you?
I didn't bring her, but I will sometime.
Okay, good.
She's great.
All right, let's talk about stress in the workplace. How does it affect work?
Well, we want to think about how the pandemic has impacted us at stress. We've sometimes had to work longer hours, or there hasn't been a good boundary between our work and life. And we really want to work on stress recovery. Otherwise, we're vulnerable to burnout.
And what does that mean? What's the stress recovery model?
I think about it as a teeter-totter. We're designed to deal with stress, but oftentimes we're stressed and we stay stressed and we get stuck in this. And so we want to work on active recovery to balance our physiology so we can really be centered and be productive and focused and enthusiastic at work.
Easier said than done, though, most times.
And you also hear about this work-life balance.
Yeah, so we need a recovery plan. One, have better boundaries. Don't have your phone where you're checking your data. Also, don't think about work. Try to have like a stop sign when you walk into your house, or when you're turning off the work computer if you're working from home. And then think about actively recovering. You can do micro breaks during the day. Just little things like make sure you're eating, walk around, get outside. Nature is really restorative. And then make sure you're also prioritizing recovery in the evening and in the weekends, because often why we burn out is we don't have enough life outside of work.
Right.
And we start to really dread going into work.
Right, you wake up on Monday morning, it's like, what happened to the weekend?
Yeah.
You haven't done anything.
Well, and taking micro breaks is a great idea, because even if you just put your phone down for 10 minutes, take a breather from social media, and it is restorative. It feels good to kind of let your brain relax.
Absolutely, yeah. Screens rarely restore us. Instead, think about physical activity. So the 10 minutes are good during the workday, but outside of work, think about physical activity. Think about doing something that builds mastery, like learning a hobby, learning a language, taking up something that you've never tried before that would feel really fun. And then usually when we're involved in those things, we're not thinking about work, we feel recharged, and then we're ready Monday morning to get back at it.
And a lot of people are really stressing out about having to go back into work after working at home for 2.5 years.
It's a big adjustment, right? We're used to maybe working in our PJs and our slippers and having to get ready to go back, and also the worry about the pandemic. So make sure you're talking with your boss, making sure you're doing a lot of self-care. It can feel pretty tiring to be back, and just reach out for the support, especially mental health support.
Your clothes don't fit.
Well, and you're always so good about keeping things in perspective and having sort of an attitude of gratitude, that when you're in an intensely stressful situation, to try to realize it's not the end of the world and this too shall pass, right?
Yeah, thank you for putting in a plug for gratitude practice. Our brains are so derived to focus on the negative, we forget about how blessed we are. And so just a little 3 things I'm grateful for. You can write it down or talk about it at the dinner table, or even with your colleagues at work, can help you remember what's right instead of just focus on what's wrong.
Don't stress about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Shyla, great to see you again.
Great to see you.
Great.
Bring the baby next time.
Oh, I look forward to seeing you next month. Yeah.
All right, well, don't call it retirement for tennis superstar Serena Williams.
She likes to call it an evolution. Oh, Shyla will like that. More on the surprising announcement from Serena coming up after Julian's first WARN forecast.
Your family's year-round comfort is our year-round commitment at RG Heating and Air Conditioning. We install quality Trane equipment and service all brands so your home's furnace and AC will perform their best year-round. RG Heating and AC.
Spectrum presents Stream Home Makeover with JoJo.
We transform the Joneses' home, upgrading their entertainment experience with the best TV and internet services from Spectrum. Let's go! With Spectrum TV, you get your favorite channels and streaming apps, plus tons of on-demand.
Switch to Spectrum TV and internet for only $49.99 a month each. Now with even faster speeds of 300 megabits per second. Call 1-844-480-4713.
Ready for more? Take a look. With the free Spectrum TV app, you can stream live sports, news, and more on all your devices, inside, outside, and on the go.
Wow, that's awesome!
There's more. We powered up the game room with Spectrum Internet, which gives you the fast, reliable speeds you need to power all all your devices. And it comes with free security suite so you can feel completely safe and secure.
Switch to Spectrum TV and Internet for only $49.99 a month each, now with speeds of 300 megabits per second. Call 1-844-480-4713.
Call now.
Okay, everyone. Our mission is to provide complete balanced nutrition for strength and energy.
Ensure Complete Balanced Nutrition with 27 vitamins and minerals, and Ensure Complete with 30 grams of protein.
It's time to amp up the fun at your local Ford dealer. The summer supercharged sales event is here. So stop by your Ford dealer today and check out great offers on select Ford vehicles. Then discover how Ford can take your summer to a whole new level. Choose Flex Buy on a 2022 Ford Escape or Edge SUV and get 0% APR financing for 66 months.
I love this state. Knock on any door in any county, and you'll find good-hearted, hard-working folks. People whose businesses I proudly helped as Lieutenant Governor. Hard work needs to be respected again, with fair wages and opportunities to get ahead. That's how my parents opened doors for me. My mom was a teacher and my dad worked third shift. I'm not one of these millionaires. I work just as hard for you as you work for your family. I'm Mandela Barnes, and I approve this message.
At USAA, we've been called too exclusive because we only serve those who honorably served. All ranks, all branches, and their eligible family members. Yep, that is exclusive, and we're fine with that.
At RG Heating and Air Conditioning, our promise to you is 100% satisfaction guaranteed. Guaranteed service, repairs, and replacements. Installing quality Trane equipment. RG Heating and AC. We'll always treat you like family. Guaranteed.
Well, take a look at this. A diamond-inspired super yacht concept called the Stella de Sud is inspired by Cartier's famous 128-carat diamond. The Italian design team behind the floating fantasy imagines an onboard cinema, helipad, and 3 pools, one with a waterfall effect. The main deck has room for 8 VIP cabins, a gym, and a piano lounge. Right now, the Stella is just a design, and the team who came up with it has been pretty tight-lipped about any further development, so who knows if this jewel will get its chance to shine on the open sea.
As someone who loves cruises, Mark, are you drooling?
Well, that's a private yacht.
That's still,
yeah,
that's one of a kind.
That is one of a kind. Hopefully they'll build it.
Yeah, we can dream, right?
We can dream. And we were dreaming about this weather, and it finally happened.
Oh
so dreams come true.
Dreams do come true. And we're going to be talking about how long it's going to stay this nice in just a few moments. So stay tuned with the First One forecast after the break.
Hi, I'm Dr. Sheesh Raval with the Ortho Team Clinic at Stoughton Health. We hope you can join us for our upcoming event on shoulder pain relief.
Your spirit is stronger than your highs and lows. Your creativity can outshine any bad day because you are greater than your bipolar 1. And you can help take control of your symptoms and ask about Vraylar. Some medicines only treat the lows or highs. Once daily Vraylar is proven to treat depressive, acute manic, and mixed episodes of bipolar 1 in adults. Full spectrum relief for all bipolar 1 symptoms. Elderly dementia patients have increased risk of death or stroke. Call your doctor about unusual changes in behavior or suicidal thoughts. Antidepressants can increase these in children and young adults. Report fever, stiff muscles, or confusion, which may mean a life-threatening reaction, or uncontrollable muscle movements, which may be permanent. High cholesterol and weight gain, and high blood sugar, which can lead to coma or death, may occur. Movement dysfunction and restlessness are common side effects. Sleepiness and stomach issues are also common. Side effects may not appear for several weeks. You are greater than your bipolar 1. Ask about Vraylar and learn how AbbVie could help you save.
I'd like to thank our sponsor, Liberty Mutual. They customize your car insurance so you only pay for what you need. Contestants ready? Go! Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty. So I climbed into the cab and then I settled down inside. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. I've traveled, I've had my share, man. I've been everywhere.
Consumer Cellular has the best customer service.
They care about the customer.
The best price with the best quality.
The prices
The coverage.
The coverage is great.
It was the same, if not better.
Consumer Cellular provides the exact same premium coverage as the nation's leading carriers for half the cost. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get talk, text, and data starting at just $20 a month.
It's like 4 scoops of ice cream for the price of 1.
Switch today and get a 100% risk-free guarantee. Call or go online.
I love being an orthopedic surgeon because I can help people improve their lives. My name is Ashish Raval. I'm an orthopedic surgeon. My specialty is sports medicine, focusing specifically on the care of the shoulder, hip, and knee.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Well, for this late in summer, this is what dreams are made of in terms of the weather for us. Plenty of blue sky for us. A couple of clouds are lingering, but our temperatures have felt all but great throughout the course of the day. Around 79 degrees right now. And as we continue throughout the rest of this evening, and those who are heading to the polls, just know it's still going to be comfortable. It's still going to be flat out gorgeous. The 70s remain in our forecast for us throughout the rest of this evening, but then we'll start to cool down as we head into tonight. Now, taking a look at the upper Midwest, dry conditions to start, and any showers or developments of any potential storms are mainly to the south, just outside of Dallas, but we're going to be looking at dry conditions to stick around at least for the foreseeable future until later, maybe possibly into the mid part of this week. Before tonight's, just know it's going to be mostly clear, 59 degrees for us. It will be comfortable, and we're going to continue that comfortable streak until we see this cold front start to sweep its way in. By the time we get into our Thursday, high pressure system is going to keep things dry and rather mild throughout the next couple of days, though. So taking a look at what we're going to be seeing for tonight, again, it's going to be mostly clear, it's going to be comfortable, and it's going to be cool. We're going to see those 50s rolling in on the overnight hours, and then as we kick off our Wednesday morning, we're going to see temperatures into the low 60s, upper 50s for our friends to the west. Still not looking at much in terms of breezy conditions, but we will see a bit warmer temperatures. By the time it's around lunchtime, we're going to see around 79 degrees for us, and on top of it, we're going to see a bit of those lower into middle 80s by the time we get into our Wednesday evening. Some areas just to the north outside of Green Bay could see just a couple of showers starting to pop off late evening hours, but then as we get into the later part of our nights, a couple of pop-up isolated showers are possible just areas north of Madison as we get into the overnight hours. As we see around early Thursday morning, we could see a couple of more pop-up showers just to the west of Dane County, starting off from Crawford and for Grant County in itself. Starting to just be a bit more of those pop-ups stretching out in towards southern Wisconsin, but overall we're not looking at much in terms of seeing any more rain throughout the later part of this week, except for Grant County by the time we get into our lunchtime hours. But just take notes, once that cold front sweeps through, we're going to be once again into those 70s. And just a quick look at what we could potentially see from any of those pop-up showers that could even just pretty much be stationary over certain areas. It's mainly going to be in the far southwest outside of Dane County. Otherwise, folks, don't expect any rainfall for us. It is going to be rather dry. Now, as we take a look at what we could be expecting over the next 6 to 10 days, well, folks, we are going to be looking at about a 40% chance of us to be below temperatures here in southern Wisconsin as we kick off the next few days going into even next week. So what we're feeling now is looking to stick around for a little while longer. However, dew points will start to climb just a bit more. So next week, we do have the potential for seeing a chance of some rain here or there as we get in throughout the rest of this evening. But other than that, folks are going to be, we're looking at temperatures into those upper 70s for the most part as we get into next week. It's going to do it for weather. Let's go ahead and toss it back for you guys.
All right, Julian, thank you. Well, the polls close in less than 4 hours, and we will find out tonight who will be facing Tony Evers in November. That and the U.S. Senate race, where incumbent Senator Ron Johnson will almost certainly face Mandela Barnes.
To help get a perspective on what's at stake, we've invited two familiar analysts back to the studios. It's been a while, 4 or 5 years, I think. Matt Rothschild, the executive director of the Wisconsin Democracy Campaign. He's the former editor and publisher of the Progressive magazine.
Good to see you, Matt.
Brandon Schultz, the president and CEO of Wisconsin Grocers Association, former Wisconsin Republican strategist.
Good to see you guys in person.
Hey. I know. It's been quite a while.
It's nice to be back.
So, Matt, let's start with you. Let's talk about the U.S. Senate race. It took a strange turn about 2 weeks ago, and all the candidates seemed to get out of the way of Mandela Barnes.
Yeah, I think that's one reason we may see lower turnout in Democratic areas, because the biggest race isn't really there anymore because Mandela Barnes, basically won it already. And I don't like seeing candidates drop out, really. I didn't like to see it last time in the Democratic primary for president. But this time I think it was a little different. Tom Nelson ran out of money. Alex Lasry didn't run out of money. No. And Sarah Godlewski didn't run out of money either, but Sarah Godlewski and Lasry had a choice to make because they were dropping behind in the polls. And I'm sure that their campaign folks told them, look, the only way you can close the gap here is to go negative on Mandela Barnes. And that would have caused a lot of trouble with the Democratic base. And if they want to have a future in the Democratic Party of Wisconsin, I think they said, I got to take a walk here.
But how does it affect enthusiasm among Democrats now that it's a foregone conclusion?
Well, the enthusiasm for the primary was way down once all those candidates dropped out. But there'll be a lot of enthusiasm in November, I promise you that.
So how do you think he'll fare against Ron Johnson in the come November?
The danger with what was parlayed in the Democrat primary, the rest of them dropping out and giving it to Mandela Barnes, makes it easy for today. But it doesn't test Mandela with some of the messages that they could have gone after. So if Alex Lasry wanted to go a little bit negative, wanted to attack him on some of the issues that Mandela's been on, and if Mandela Barnes was successful, he would have been tested going into the general election. Without having any of that happen in the primary, he now comes into the general election against Ron Johnson, and it's all going to fly heavy. That is going to be a heavily contested, heavily messaged race. There's going to be plenty of attacks on both sides. And for Mandela Barnes, he's not really been tested on where he is on all of the issues that they pegged him. So the Republicans will just wait for the primaries over. Democrats are all set to attack Ron Johnson. They got plenty of messaging there. But now Mandela Barnes is out there alone, not tested, and he's going into the fight of his life.
Yeah, but I'm sure his staff is testing him every day on the stuff that's about to come.
But it's not enough. It's not hand-to-hand combat like we know in how the general election's going to be.
Let's turn to the governor's race on the Republican side. It's pretty neck and neck.
Totally. It's been a topsy-turvy, up and down. The pace with Tim Michaels getting up in the polls. Rebecca Klefisch goes negative and is successful at it and makes the race even. Michaels counters with an attack. She comes back with an attack. Yesterday's polls show her up a point or two. All within the margin there. So people say, well, what's going to happen? I'm like, if you got a coin, toss it, because I think it's going to be that close. And we're going to look around the state and maybe in Waukesha and that area for sure, in southeastern Wisconsin, to see how they perform. That's the key place to see how people are doing.
Matt, 3 months ago, Tim Michaels wasn't even a candidate. Now he's neck and neck with Rebecca Klefisch. He's running as a political outsider. And of course, he has the endorsement of Donald Trump. So what does he have to do tonight?
Well, I think the Donald Trump endorsement is the big question. And the question it raises for me is, does Donald Trump own the Republican Party of Wisconsin, or are there enough Republican voters in Wisconsin that have a mind of their own? And my sense of it is that this may be a bad night for Trump, both in the governor's race and, Robin Vos is going to keep his seat as Speaker. And the idea that Donald Trump could come in and endorse Vos's opponent, Steen, and make Steen win. I mean, if Steen wins, that's going to be the shocker of the night. So I think when all is said and done, it's not going to be a great night for Trump. And I don't know between Michaels and Klefisch, but if I had to bet, I think Klefisch may win narrowly.
How about the Fox Valley, Brent?
Great point, because if you go from the Fox Valley to Green Bay, that is kind of untested waters, because the candidates have been working it hard, and certainly they've been running a ton of ads. Both campaigns, Tim Michaels, Rebecca Klefisch, all up and down the valley with media and around the state. But that's kind of, you're not certain where it's going to go. We know what happens in Waukesha. We know what happens around the state, because Trump's endorsement for Michaels will be strong if you get north and west and into that 3rd district primary. But the valley's been kind of quiet. There's legislative races. I don't know how that one's going to turn out. That's a coin toss as well. As Matt said, this race is so close that there's really nothing that could push it one way or another in big chunks. Maybe a Trump endorsement here will help Michaels up north, but if he doesn't do well in the wild counties in southeastern Wisconsin and Klefisch performs just as she would be expected to be, she'll have enough votes to counter this heavier vote in the upper part of the state. So it's just kind of, it's a Wild West primary for Republicans.
And Matt, when you look ahead to November and the general election, which candidate do you think would have a tougher time with Governor Evers?
Well, Evers is ahead of both of them at the moment in the latest polls I saw. I think Rebecca Kleefisch actually is a more difficult opponent for him. I think she appeals more to suburban women, and I think, you know, Evers has proven himself. He can beat a guy who comes on real strong. He did that with Walker. I think he could do that with Michaels too.
What do you think, Brandon?
We're going to see more money spent in this state. Both state party chairs estimated $700 million on the two top of the ticket races. Not anything below that, just those two. And it's not going to stop at 700. If they can get to $1 billion in this state, I'm not going to be surprised. That's an obscene amount of money. Even I think that.
Yeah, you're stealing my lines here.
But it's going to happen because both sides are guilty. This is no longer Republicans have both sides are going to play money. That could determine how this is going to play in November. Who's got the stronger message and who's able to deliver. It's going to go into infrastructure because Republicans aren't going to vote for Tony Evers or Mandela Barnes, and Democrats are going to vote for Ron Johnson and, you know, Tony Evers. It's going to be who turns out that extra vote right down to Election Day, and that's where we're going to be.
And the nation's watching.
Oh, every minute.
What is it, 90 days?
90 days. We'll see you back here then.
Looking forward to it.
So good to see you guys.
Yeah,
See you soon.
Yeah.
Go and vote. Very important. Well, coming up, one of the legends of tennis is retiring.
And then coming up next hour at 5, our Campaign 22 coverage continues. We'll head out to the watch parties of all the major candidates. Our reporters will check in coming up at 5.
Outlets at the Dells in the center of water park heaven with 60 of the world's biggest brands. We thrill the trendsetters and all who love a smoking hot discount. Get the first day look they want and save up to 70% off everything for back to school. Visit outletsatthedells.com for coupon and details.
Do you suffer from chronic or severe back or neck pain? Did you know that there's now a treatment method available right here at Midwest Spine and Nerve Center that offers hope of avoiding spinal surgery for those suffering with bulging, herniated, or degenerative discs? Our therapies help reduce pain related to these conditions and have a high success rate in helping people just like you avoid back or neck surgery.
I've experienced low back pain for over 15 years. I had back surgery when I was 26 and had difficulties recovering. The doctors at Midwest Spine and Nerve Center have given me a new lease on life. I am now able to enjoy an active, pain-free lifestyle.
Call Midwest Spine and Nerve Center now to schedule a no-obligation consultation to see if our progressive pain-relieving therapies are right for you.
We believe local produce shouldn't be hard to find. That's why we work with local farms right in our own backyard to bring you fresher than fresh produce.
You got everything I need. You're like medicine to me. Oh, baby,
Because shopping for local produce should be as easy as shopping at your local Pick and Save. Pick and Save, fresh for everyone.
Ooh, Kohler, of course. When were you going to tell me about the new shower?
Oh, you like it?
I love it.
I designed it myself.
Is she bragging about our shower again?
Well,
it was all Kohler Luckstone. The walls, the storage, the shower head, everything. A Kohler authorized dealer walked us through every detail, and installation couldn't have been easier.
Outlets at the Dells in the center of water park heaven with 60 of the world's biggest brands. We thrill the trendsetters and all who love a smoking hot discount. Get the first day look they want and save up to 70% off everything for back to school. Visit outletsatthedells.com for coupon and details.
New at 5, the 2022 primaries are finally here. We have live coverage of the election, including ballot breakdowns, campaign and party analysis, and live one-on-one interviews with the candidates.
Tonight is election night, and we're going to be giving you your forecast when you're heading out to the polls coming up tonight at 5.
And ahead at 6, News 3 Now heads to the polls to ask voters their thoughts on the election. We also speak to election officials about the turnout so far. That's tonight on News 3 Now at 6.
Welcome. Welcome back. Tennis superstar Serena Williams is gearing up to retire from the sport that made her a household name, and fans are reacting to the big announcement.
Michael George reports from the National Tennis Center in Flushing, Queens.
Tennis great Serena Williams detailed her plans to step off the court for good with a personal essay in the September issue of Vogue. The 23-time Grand Slam champion wrote in part, "I've never liked the word retirement," adding, "Maybe the best way to describe what I'm up to is evolution." Williams broke barriers as a young black star rising to the top of tennis and the sports world. She and her sister Venus transformed the game, together winning 14 Grand Slam doubles championships. Serena has 23 Grand Slam singles titles, more than any man or woman in the professional era. But now, away from tennis towards other things, like growing her venture capital firm and expanding her family, writing, "I definitely don't want to be pregnant again as an athlete. I need to be 2 feet into tennis or 2 feet out." Williams says she'll play this year's final Grand Slam event, the U.S. Open, here in Flushing Meadows later this month. She signaled the tournament she's won 6 times before will be her last. Some tennis fans say they're sad to see her go, but support her decision.
She actually came to the court, a single court in Bed-Stuy next to our house, and I was like 6 and I got to hit with her a little bit.
She's the greatest women's tennis player of all time, and she's going to be missed.
The birth of her daughter and injuries have impacted Williams' time on the court in recent years. This week, she's competing in Toronto's National Bank Open.
I love playing, though. It's amazing, but, it's like, I can't do this forever.
In Vogue, she writes, "I'm not looking for some ceremonial final on-court moment. I'm going to miss that version of me, that girl who played tennis, and I'm going to miss you." Michael George, CBS News, New York.
And Forbes estimates Serena Williams pulls in $45 million a year in business deals and endorsements, making her the second highest paid female athlete behind Naomi Osaka. Williams' sister Venus ranks 3rd.
Boy, that'll be the end of an era.
It really is.
What an announcement.
Yeah, but she's going to play in the U.S. Open this year.
Great.
So. Up next at 4, it's our weekly visit from UW Health's Dr. Jeff Potoff.
The new school year is approaching, and the CDC is changing its guidance a little bit on schools and COVID. We'll go over the latest information when Live at 4 continues.
There's a difference in a small town where family values still hold true. Welcome to the Portage Furniture Store. Well, we ventured back to Portage, and look at who we found, the 2 Ayers brothers, Austin and Aaron. It's good to see you guys.
Welcome back.
So how is business? How is life?
Business has been great. It's been very busy, busy for both of us. A couple new kiddos in the past year. So no, but business has been doing great.
I know you really want to give a shout out to all of the people around this area that shop local, that choose to come right here to Cook Street to see the 2 of you.
Obviously, first and foremost, we're so appreciative of our customers, and there's just been such a strong sentiment to shop local, shop small, support family business. And I guess with the inventory, we've been very blessed. We've got a packed showroom, trucks coming in every week. We've really, we're running out of places to put everything. We're in good shape.
I feel like there's such a difference in the customer's mood when they walk in. They don't have that anxious feeling of, oh gosh, here comes the salesperson coming over to talk to me. Yeah. Why is that so different here?
We put a major emphasis on no pressure shopping. Our salespeople, they're fantastic. They're going to be there when you need them, but they're going to let you, try everything out, and they're going to leave you alone, let you relax.
So all these years later, the big question is, there still the Portage Furniture free delivery?
Yep, absolutely. Still the free delivery. Going to bring it right into your home, set it up, make it perfect for you. They'll even cook you dinner or sing a song for you if you need. They're just fantastic.
That's that small, local, family feel business mentality. You can't replicate it, right?
We're the Ayers family.
From the Portage Furniture Store, I'm Emmy Fink, and you're buzzed into Madison.
In a recent clinical study, patients using Salonpas patch reported reductions in pain severity, using less or a lot less oral pain medicines, and improved quality of life. That's why we recommend Salonpas. It's good medicine.
I'm
Rebecca Clayfish, and your choice for governor is clear. I'm the Tea Party mom who took on the Madison establishment and won. Tim Michaels is a Madison insider who's enriched himself with your tax dollars. I stood with Scott Walker to cut your taxes. Tim Michaels sided with the union bosses and pushed to raise our gas tax to make himself richer. Tim Michaels is out for himself. I'm Rebecca Clayfish. As governor, I'll always fight for you.
Angie's List is losing the list. From now on, it's just Angie.
So what happens to all the people that needed the list?
Oh yeah, everything still works. We just made it better. We even let you book services instantly now.
Start your home project at Angie.com.
And switching our gears back to traffic. This is what we're seeing as of right now. Eastbound on the Beltline, still one of the slower spots as we're kicking off our 4 p.m. Evening commutes. But as we take a look over towards Fish Hatch Road, a lot of the residential areas are, as of right now, are where we're seeing the slow spots. But as we take a look towards the interstate, well, it's still pretty smooth as we're getting things rolling for us. Normal construction off of the regular routes, but overall, we are still looking at pretty smooth conditions from getting to point A to point B. Now, timing things out, how things are, well, pretty normal as around this time of day for us. Around 25 minutes from getting from Janesville to the Beltline, and from Sauk City to Middleton, around 16 minutes. And from Sun Prairie to downtown, around 19 minutes as well. So pretty smooth and also pretty normal for this timing as of right now. It's going to do it for traffic. Let's go ahead and toss it back to you guys.
Those are the operatic tones of Duke football player Chance Lytle, whose viral TikTok from training camp proves there's nothing offensive about the offensive lineman's singing voice. The 329-pound player happens to have a degree in music and vocal performance, and his teammates love it.
Love the hair, too.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Got the look.
Well, the CDC is expected to relax some COVID recommendations soon, just as kids start heading back to school.
Among the proposed changes, those exposed to COVID would no longer have to quarantine, but mask for 5 days.
UW Health's Dr. Jeff Potoff is back with us for his weekly visit. Hi, Dr. Potoff. Good to see you.
Good to see you guys.
Before we get into the nuts and bolts of that, the community transmission in Dane County has decreased. Now we're in the medium category.
Right.
So what does that mean for everybody watching?
What that means is that right now in Dane County, we've come off of what must have been a bit of a higher peak of cases and hospitalizations, and that seems to hold true. What that means for people in their daily life is when we were in red, if you were even healthy and you were going to go to an indoor environment where a lot of people were at, you would want to mask to reduce transmission. In the yellow environment, that still holds true for those who are high risk, immunocompromised people, but lessens the need for masking in an indoor environment for those of us who are healthy, vaccinated, things like that.
So let's talk about these new CDC guidelines. If you test positive, you don't have to quarantine. This is a big change.
So if you test positive, you'd still need to quarantine. But if you're exposed at school, so let's say you have this close exposure, we used to take kids out of school for 5 days. You know, this new guidance, it's this compromise between trying to ensure that we provide a good educational experience for our kids, at the same time minimize, you know, disease risk to those children. So, you know, with higher rates of vaccination, with higher rates of natural immunity, with therapeutics available, this idea that folks who are exposed should still take the precautions of masking to prevent spread, but can still be in the classroom and learn, I think is a step in the right direction, especially this far into the pandemic.
And the social distancing guidelines will all be gone. I think the CDC did away with them a while ago anyway. So that's already almost a relic of the pandemic past.
Right. I mean, especially with these more contagious variants, we probably can't distance enough in an indoor space to necessarily get that benefit. So really the big protection comes down to masking if you're in that high-risk scenario.
What does this tell you, all these changes in the recommendations?
I think it's a combination of being in a very different place. I mean, I remember earlier on in the pandemic, we didn't know a whole lot about this. We definitely didn't want our kids getting sick when we didn't know what could happen, and we wanted to keep our teachers safe. Now, with a lot of vaccine availability, a lot of people who recently have COVID, better understanding of these variants and seeing less severe disease, I think you start seeing these changes that try to figure out how do we live with COVID, i.e. provide a good educational experience, not put kids at unreasonable risk, but balance that a little bit better.
So you think it is a reassuring message for parents that it'll be as normal as possible this coming school year?
Yeah, I think it's good for the kids. It doesn't mean we throw complete caution to the wind, but at the same time, trying to get back to some sense of normal is probably a good thing.
And then there's monkeypox.
There's monkeypox.
And that's continuing to spread.
We are seeing more cases. In fact, I think the U.S. is now starting to lead the pack, much like we did with COVID, in monkeypox cases.
Vaccine availability has been an ongoing story across the country. What's the situation locally?
Yeah, I think, if we don't have vaccine in the community, we can get, isolated doses for specific cases. We are getting more doses, but much like the national and international landscape, there is not enough doses available for the number of people who are likely going to be at risk for monkeypox. So they're looking at things like, can we give smaller doses intradermally rather than like the normal injection you expect? Would that protect people until we can build up those stockpiles to vaccinate the way we'd like to?
But this does not spread like Omicron or the flu.
I mean, not even close, like not even like the same game. So I mean, what we're seeing with monkeypox is close skin-to-skin contact is how we're seeing this spread, and we're seeing it spread mostly in social circles where folks are kind of hanging out together, skin-to-skin contact, things like that. So it's not that we're not seeing it sometimes in kids in school or in other cases, but a very different disease than COVID, which is super easy to catch, and all you gotta do is be around people who don't even know they're sick who have it to catch it. That's just not the case with monkeypox.
And you're always looking down the road when it comes to COVID. Are there any other variants that you're hearing about that you're investigating?
None that have come to light. There is this 2.75, Omicron 2.75. So again, another subvariant of Omicron that, is over in Asia, a little bit in Europe, not necessarily making big moves right now. Right now, it's still BA5 right here. But we'll have to see. It would be great if we could have a vaccine this fall that covers BA5 and not have something other than BA5 be the dominant variant at that point.
But a lot of kids are not getting vaccinated. And I mean, is that going to be problematic as everybody goes back to school?
I think you could see more cases. I think, in the kids, the thing that worries me is that most kids will do fine with COVID, but some will not. There's even more data now from the CDC that says, kids who get COVID have a much higher rate of things like blood clots and heart inflammation, diabetes. It still doesn't happen often, but it happens more often in those kids who get COVID. I think the second thing in schools, if we have high rates of transmission, is not the kids, but the staff. If we infect our teachers, and our teachers, maybe they're doing fine, they're vaccinated, but they're at home for 5 days, it gets hard to run a school. So I think that's what we'll have to watch out for.
Get vaccinated. All right, doctor, we'll see you next week.
Great information. Good to see you, Dr. Potta. Thank you.
We'll have a final check of your forecast coming up.
At iMart Express, you'll save on glasses for classes. For $79, get 2 pairs with kid-safe polycarbonate lenses and a free 1-year frame warranty. Don't let the bell ring before you get a chance to save. A $200 value, all for $79.
So I climbed into the cab and then I settled down inside. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. I've traveled, I've had my share, man. I've been everywhere.
I love this state. Knock on any door in any county, and you'll find good-hearted, hard-working folks. People whose businesses are proudly helped as Lieutenant Governor. Hard work needs to be respected again, with fair wages and opportunities to get ahead. That's how my parents opened doors for me. My mom was a teacher, and my dad worked 3rd shift. I'm not one of these millionaires. I work just as hard for you as you work for your family. I'm Mandela Barnes, and I approve this message.
Those brave men and women of our armed forces, generations of them. Why should today's burdens fall back onto them? They were there for us. Now let's be there for them. Your local Wisconsin energy providers and the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund are working together to deliver Wisconsin veterans in crisis heat, power, and help staying in their home. But they can't do it alone. Donate today.
iMart Express owns selection, price, and speed. Need single vision? Get 2 pairs starting under $40. Progressives, 2 pairs start under $80. Nobody beats us, guaranteed. iMart Express. Right glasses, right price, right now.
It's make or break for many candidates. News 3 now analyzes the outlook for the primary and how that will impact the November election. Then we sit down in exclusive interviews with candidates in some of the most heated races in the county. That's coming up at 5.
News 3 now, and the Boys and Girls Clubs of Dane County are collecting school supplies for area students.
Please help us by donating at News 3 Now, Dane County Boys and Girls Clubs, or participating Walgreens. Visit channel3000.com for details, then donate.
And we have a mostly clear and comfortable night on tap, which is going to be great for those heading to the voting polls until 8 p.m. We'll give you your forecast and what else to expect coming up at 5.
For 25 years, Capital Bank has been Madison's personal tailor when it comes to business banking. But make no mistake, the investment in our customers has made more than a stitch of difference in Dane County. We attribute our growth to our meaningful customer relationships, where we focus on earning your trust, not just your money. When you succeed, we succeed. Capital Bank, tailored service, experienced bankers, locally invested.
Eyes require a certain kind of care. As a family-owned optical company for over 40 years, Wisconsin Vision knows firsthand just how important your eyes are. That's why our doctors and staff are highly skilled and passionate in their roles. It's why our centers offer a large selection of eyewear suitable for all lifestyles, and it's why our lens lab is state-of-the-art, conveniently located right here in Wisconsin. Ask about our designer kids package or free lens upgrade. Wisconsin Vision. See more life.
Hello, I'm Roman Ryan of Ryan Funeral Homes. As a locally owned and operated funeral home, it's important to know that not all funeral homes are the same. Some other Madison area funeral homes are actually owned by corporations based outside of the United States. A corporately owned funeral home is focused on the bottom line, making services more costly. We have served local families for more than 80 years, and our priority is investing in the community and your family. In your time of need, Ryan Funeral Homes are here for you.
This is the house that Angels built. Attic Angels Senior Living Community is built on a foundation of authentic, local care, a framework for living well, windows to take in the beautiful future, and is crowned by the pride that one's home is one's castle. This is the house that Angels built. Attic Angel Community. Independent homes and 4 levels of assisted living, built with the help of angels.
Velco Factory Direct. What does that mean? It means no middleman, no overpriced, underperforming windows. Factory Direct means getting what you want, when you want, without breaking the bank. It means when you buy one window, you'll get one free. Yes, free. It means quality craftsmanship, custom designs, and a lifetime warranty. Most importantly, it means a team of window professionals dedicated to one thing above all, your delight. Buy one window, get one free. Call now.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866 for Velco.
In today's Final Touch, a pair of pumped-up pals weren't so much hanging out as they were hanging on.
And they broke a pull-up world record with a twist. Ever try a pull-up?
Oh, I can't do it.
They're the worst. The pull-up part, it's hard, then you go in the down part, that's not so bad, but then you got to go up again. That being said, that's why this Guinness World Record for pull-ups is so impressive, even before you realize they were done hanging from a hovering helicopter. Yes, a pair of YouTube fitness instructors from Belgium pulled off this amazing feat, cranking out 25 pull-ups in just 1 minute, all while dangling from a whirling chopper at an Antwerp airfield. You don't even know that this was a thing, but it is, and these guys crushed it, and they now have the records to prove it.
I feel very unaccomplished.
Pull-ups on a helicopter. There you have it. All right, that's our time for now. Thanks for watching, everybody. Don't forget to vote. News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.